discover your destiny is by locating the one who knows where it is, because he knows where he wants you to wind up.
This is The Alternative with Dr. Tony Evans, author, speaker, senior pastor of Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship in Dallas, Texas, and president of the Urban Alternative. Tomorrow can be a scary destination, especially if you're trying to feel your way toward it on your own. Today, Dr. Evans spells out the details of a much smarter plan of action. Let's join him as he begins with this story.
It was August 14th, 2003, when Sister Evans and myself were in New York on our way back to Dallas. And so we went to LaGuardia Airport to catch the flight back to Dallas. We stood in curbside check-in to check in our bags, but the line was not moving. I stepped out of the line, went up to the baggage handler, and asked, "Is there a problem?" He says, "Yes, nothing is working. The magnetometers aren't working, the conveyor belts aren't working, our computers aren't working, so everything's shut down. We're waiting for things to get corrected." Well, we stayed there for hours, along with thousands of other people at LaGuardia, waiting for things that were broken to get fixed. They never got fixed because as dusk began to settle, an announcement came across the loudspeaker for the whole of LaGuardia Airport. The airport is shutting down because we have no power. We found ourselves caught, if you recall, in the blackout of 2003, when the East Coast went dark due to a power grid failure in Canada, that it worked its way down the East Coast. And so things weren't working because there was no power. Of all the hotels surrounding the airport, there's one room at one hotel, but they can only hold it for 10 minutes because everybody's coming to try to find a place to stay because there's no power, so there's no light. We had to make our way up to our room by flashlight. So we walked inside of a dark room, and all we could do was hope that tomorrow would be a better day because this day was not working out. That's when Sister Evans decided to see if we could open the window to get some night air in since the air conditioning was not working. And so she went over to the window and she pulled back the curtain. And when she pulled back the curtain, that's when we saw it. You see, immediately across the street from the Crown Plaza LaGuardia is a Marriott Hotel, and the Marriott Hotel was completely lit up. Bright lights. We opened the window. We could hear music playing. There were people outside eating. So we were in the wrong hotel. So inquiring minds want to know, how could there be this much light in the middle of this much darkness? Because the street lights weren't working, our hotel wasn't working, unless you had candles or flashlight, nothing was working except this Marriott Hotel was lit up. So we decided to go across the street to find out why there was this much light in this much darkness. So we went down and we walked across the street. We walked into an air-conditioned Marriott Hotel. They had lined the whole lobby of the hotel with TVs that had CNN on it talking about how dark New York and the East Coast had become. People were standing in line to get hot food. And so inquiring minds want to know. I want to know, how could there be this much light in the middle of this much darkness? So I went to the assistant manager and I said, "I don't get it. How are you able to do all this?" He said with a smile, "Well, folks have been asking us that all day, and it's really simple. When we built this hotel, we built it with a gas generator. So we have power on the inside that's not dependent on circumstances on the outside. We got something working within that overrides what's not working without. And so even though everything around us in dark, we are well lit because we have something most others did not possess." So in the middle of a dark situation, there was a well-lit location. Many of us find ourselves in a not too well-lit location. Where we are right now is not a pleasant place to be. We're like the person who called suicide prevention only to be told by the operator, hold the line. You know, when you're in a hopeless situation, when your twin forgets your birthday. Just things aren't feeling right. You know, it's not a good day when you hear birds singing outside your window only to discover when you look out they're buzzards. Not the kind of birds you want to hear from on a cloudy day. Feeling a sense of hopelessness, like the man who went to the doctor and the doctor said, I've got your test back and I've got some bad news and I've got some really bad news. He said, what's the bad news? The bad news is that you only have 24 hours to live. He said, that's the bad news? What's the really bad news? Doctor said, the really bad news is I should have called you yesterday. Because things are just not working out. Many people are sensing this hopelessness, feeling graffiti written over their souls, finding themselves living under overcast skies, living in a sea of hopelessness surrounded by a land called emptiness, a sense that life's not working out. Regrets, circumstances not in your favor, and you don't feel like there's a destiny for you. And that's why I love Jeremiah 29:11. I have a plan for you, saith the Lord, a plan for your well-being and not your calamity, to give you a future and to give you a hope. Isn't that a great verse? I have a place I'm taking you. I have a plan for you, saith the Lord, a plan for your well-being and not your calamity, to give you a future and to give you a hope. That is a well-lit verse in a very dark chapter. Because of their idolatry, because they weren't serious about him, they were suffering the consequences of their decision. They were incarcerated in a foreign land. They were in a place they didn't want to be. I know some people think hope is wishing for something you know you're never going to get. But the biblical definition of hope is joyful expectation about the future. Hope is always future oriented. Hope is always about where you're going, not where you are or where you come from. Hope means my tomorrow is going to be better than my yesterday. Where I'm going is better than where I am and where I'm coming from. You know, you can go a long way with hope. If you can look out and see the possibility of a better day, you can keep going. But hopelessness means when I look out, it's as dark as what I see right now. Hopelessness means I don't see a better day. Hopelessness says there is no light at the end of the tunnel, and if I do see a light, it's the light of an oncoming train. But hope, that sense that where I'm going, my tomorrow will be better than my today and grander than my yesterday, because God is taking me to my destination. He's taking me to what we've called our destiny. The divinely prescribed place he wants us to go. Now, there are certain things he wants from all of us. He wants all of us to accept Christ. He wants all of us to become like Christ. But then there are specific things that are related to you, that relate to your name, the specific purpose or calling upon your life. And that's what we're focusing on, your personal destiny. God says, I have a plan for you. And it involves not your calamity, not the bad things that you have been through or going through, but it involves well-being, he says. When many of you leave church today, you're going to have to back out of your parking space. And that means you're going to have to look in your rear view mirror to see what's behind you. You're going to look at this piece of glass and it will tell you what's in back of you. But on your way home, do me a favor, don't spend an inordinate amount of time focusing on the rear view mirror, because you're going to hurt somebody. You see, there's a much bigger piece of glass in front of you called the windshield, because where you're going is a lot bigger than where you came from. I have a plan for you, saith the Lord, a plan for your well-being and not your calamity, to give you a future and to give you a hope. And he says that to people who are in a bad chapter, in a bad book, with a well-lit verse. So no matter what your situation is right now, God says, I have a plan for you, saith the Lord. A plan for your well-being and not your calamity, to give you a greater tomorrow than your present today or you're messed up yesterday. That's hope. And that's what God offers, a good verse in a bad chapter located in a difficult book. So the Jews who he is writing to are struggling. They're struggling because they're in this location that they don't want to be, and they don't know when they're going to get out. They don't know how long they're going to be stuck in this situation. And I know some of us are in situations, how much longer? Like Habakkuk, how long, oh Lord, how long? How long will I have to endure this job? How long will I have to endure this bad marriage? How long will I have to endure this singlehood? How long will I have to endure this financial strain? They were incarcerated in a bad location. So let me correct something as we move forward here. There's a sense of bubbling up inside your soul that God really has something with my name written on it where he wants to take my life. He's got a future plan with me in mind. Now you may be asking, but how do I really know God has the future? Because you're still here. He hasn't, if you're a believer, taken you home yet. That means that there's something left for you to do. You're still here. But here's the mistake we do not want you to make. The mistake is to look for the plan and miss the planner. To look for the destiny and skip the designer. Notice he says, I have a plan for you. I have the plan. I know what the plan is. I know where the plan is located. And you're saying, but I want my destiny. How can I find the plan? Well, look at verses 12 and 13. Then you will call upon me, and you will come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you search for me with all of your heart. The way you discover your destiny is by locating the one who knows where it is. So don't go destiny hunting. Don't go plan hunting. Go planner hunting. Go designer hunting. Because he knows where he wants you to wind up. He knows where he's taking you. Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, I loved all the Indiana Jones movies. He's looking for the Holy Grail. His father, Dr. Jones, has a map of where the Holy Grail is. The problem is there's some evil people looking for the Holy Grail too. And the evil people want the map that will show where the Holy Grail is that Mr. Jones has, Indiana Jones' father. So the evil people steal the map from Dr. Jones in order to be the first one to get to the Holy Grail. When they steal the map, Indiana Jones is discouraged and depressed. He said, Dad, they've taken the map. They're going to get to the Holy Grail before we're able to get there. Dad, they've stole the plan. Dr. Jones, Indiana Jones' father, said, don't worry, Junior. What do you mean don't worry? They've stolen the plan. He says, yes, I know they've stolen the plan, but I wrote the plan. Because I wrote the plan, I know what the plan is. I know where to go. So even though you don't have the specific plan, follow me because I'm the planner. He says, call upon me, seek me, and search for me. In order to find your destiny, God must be in the center spot of your life. He must be the focus because he has the plan. You don't. But he knows where he wants you to go. He knows the route for you to get there. And he says, I need to be your point of reference.
Dr. Evans will have a great illustration of that idea when he comes back to continue our message. Right now, though, he's here with a thought for us. Dr. Evans?
Well, folks, we hope this has been a blessed year for you. It's certainly been a blessing for us to be able to come your way and minister to you on a regular basis. I hope you've been encouraged by the challenge that we brought from God's Word. As we come to the end of the year, this is the most important time for our ministry. Our ministry will flourish or not flourish based on how God encourages our friends to join us and to support us for the end of this year. Would you be part of that provision through your generous year-end contribution. Would you close out the year by endorsing what we have been doing with you and for you all year long? We can't do it without you.
Please visit TonyEvans.org today or call 1-800-800-3222 and let us know we can count on your help. When you do, we'll send you the biggest thank you gift we've ever offered, the Best of Tony Evans 2017. It contains 20 of Tony's most powerful, life-changing lessons of the past year, 10 on CD and 10 more via digital download. Among them, there's a look at discovering your destiny, putting your spiritual authority to work, beating anxiety and addiction, how to truly be rich, and much more. So give us a call at 1-800-800-3222 or visit TonyEvans.org today. Make any donation God leads you to make, and let us send you your copy of the Best of Tony Evans 2017. Again, that's TonyEvans.org or call 1-800-800-3222 any time of the day or night. Right now, Dr. Evans is back with more of today's message. Let's join him.
When you go to the Texas State Fair and you have children who potentially get lost, here's what you tell them. You tell them, if we get separated with all this activity and all these people, you see that big man in the middle? Big Tex. If we get separated, make your way to the big man in the middle. Because Big Tex is our point of reference if we get separated in all of the hullabaloo of the fair. God is big God. And in the hullabaloo of life, with all the people and all the activities, if you find your reference point in Him, in spite of all the activity all over the place, you can wind up at the spot that God wants you to be at. I have a plan for you, saith the Lord, but I have the plan. The point is not religion, going to church. See, pursuing religion isn't equal to pursuing a relationship. That's pursuing a program. That's coming near the preacher or the choir. It's not ministering to the Lord. It's not making my focus on Him the centerpiece. Don't even make finding your destiny your centerpiece. Make finding Big Tex, Big God, Big Jesus your centerpiece. Because if you locate Him, you'll be right smack dab in the middle of the fair. You'll be right smack dab in the location where destiny can be located. When you apply for a job, they ask you for a resume. They want to know what your experience is. You want your resume to be as impressive as possible. So they move from resume to references to an interview so they can talk to you face to face. Well, our God has a thick resume, 66 books with a long history of experience. But if you want to know your destiny, you need an interview for yourself. You need what's in the book and in the mouths of others to become your personal experience with the God that you want to hire you for your destiny. When you go to a meal, the first thing they give you is a menu. The outline, the written word of what the restaurant has to offer. Not only do they give you a menu, they give you a preacher called a waiter or waitress. And what they do is they come and explain the menu, what that means, what this is, what they like on the menu. They come and do an exposition of the menu. And they will answer any questions you have about any of the meals on the menu because they've studied the menu, they've tasted the menu, so they can talk about the menu intelligently to you as you read over the written word. But after you read the word on the menu and have the word explained to you by the waiter or waitress, you do not then pick up your coat and go home. Because you didn't come just to read about it. You didn't come for somebody else to explain it. You came to taste it for yourself. This is the thick menu. My job when you come to church is to tell you what the menu means. But if you, when we come to the benediction, only have read the menu, had the menu explained to you, but have not tasted to see that the Lord is good. Your taste buds have not been infected and affected by His reality, then you're going to still leave hungry. Because reading about it and having it explained isn't equal to tasting it for yourself. He says, call upon me, seek me, and search for me, and you will find me when you look for me with all of your heart. When you're sick, you don't just need a medical book, you need a doctor. If you're in legal trouble, you just don't need a law book, you need a lawyer. You need the living manifestation of what's written in the law book. If criminals are after you, you don't just need the penal code, you need a policeman. You need the living manifestation of what the penal code says for your protection. The book is only the introduction to the person, because it's the person who helps you, not the information without the person. It's possible to fall in love with the Bible and fall out of love with Jesus at the same time. In John chapter 5, Jesus said of the Pharisees, you do always search the scriptures, but you do not know me. You'll read the book, but you don't know the author. If you are serious about your destiny, where God is taking you, where God wants you to go, then what you're going to have to do is be serious about pursuing him. As 2 Chronicles 14:4 says, Asa says, God must be the center of your life. He must be big text at the fair. He must be your point of reference, not merely your religious visiting hours on Sunday. He must be your point of reference. All of life must revolve around him. And so the planets of your activity revolving around the sun of his reality will keep you in the proper orbit to your destiny. Because I have a plan for you, saith the Lord. A plan for your well-being and not your calamity, to give you a future and to give you a hope. When he comes to verse 14, he says, I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and I will bring you back to the place from where I sent you in exile. I will be found by you. I remember when the kids were small and we would play hide and go seek. I'd go hide behind something and they'd be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1,000, 1,002 to the number, and then they would come looking for their father. And I'd gone and hidden behind something. It would always be interesting when they got frustrated because they could not find me. They were looking for me, but they could not find me. I had hidden myself in a well-couched location. And I could hear the frustration in their voice when they were looking for me, but could not find me. When I heard the frustration in their voice because they were looking for me, I would adjust my location and make myself findable. I would make it so they would hear a little something or see a little something so I could be located. I made myself findable. He says, I will be found by you, verse 14. If you're seriously looking for me, you say, well, why does he hide? He wants to know if you're a serious looker. He wants to know, are you really after him? Are you serious about this? If so, he will make himself findable. And how will you know when you found him? How will I know I've located the God who I passionately am pursuing? He says, and I will restore your fortunes. Oh, what a word. What a word is restoration. Restoration is when you get back what was ripped off from you. Some of us have had our dignity ripped off from us, and we want it back. Some of us have had our peace ripped off from us, and we want it back. Some of us have had our well-being ripped off from me, and I want it back. Some of us have had our hope stolen from me, and I want my hope back. My joy has been stolen, and I want it back. But I don't know where to find it. But God says, I have a plan. I got a map. And I will be found. If you find me, I will restore. I like that. I will give you back what the enemy snatched from you. Let me tell you one of the main things the enemy has taken. He's taken time. Because if we could have gone back and done it over again, we wouldn't have wasted this much time. We wouldn't have made those decisions. We wouldn't have hung out with those people. We wouldn't have been in those places. And the enemy has taken years of our lives. Stolen time. But he says, I will restore. How do you restore time? All of us knows that many a team has looked good in the first half. Many a team has looked like it was going to be a blowout in the first half. But we've been watching football long enough to know that you can look good in the first half and wind up being a loser in the game. Conversely, you can look bad in the first half and wind up being a winner in the game, because it ain't over till it's over. As long as the clock tick-tock, 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 as long as the clock is still ticking, that means you're still in the game. Yeah, you may be down to the 2-minute warning, but that means that you don't have time for a huddle. And all your timeouts have been used up. And you're not able to come up with an extraordinary plan, but you got to make every play count, because tick-tock, 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 but many a game have been won with seconds on the clock. You say, but can God give time back? Well, according to Joel 2, he can give you back the years the locusts have taken away. He can even give you time by causing you to make up for lost time if you locate him. Because he knows where your destiny is located.
Dr. Evans will come back in a moment with some great examples of people who found their way back from brokenness to discover their destiny. First, though, if you've never made the decision to follow God in the first place, all that can change for you today. Just visit TonyEvans.org, click on the menu button at the top, and follow the link that says Jesus. There, Tony will tell you all about what it means to be a real Christian and give you the resources and information you need to start living a brand new life. In the meantime, today's lesson is part of our current message series, The Best of Tony Evans 2017. As I mentioned earlier, all 20 messages in this collection are our gift to you when you support Tony's ministry with a contribution of any size. But be sure to contact us right away before this special offer runs out on Friday. Just drop by TonyEvans.org, where you can get all the details and make your donation online. Remember, your year-end gift right now is especially important as we work together to end 2017 in the black and launch into the new year without having to cut back on any of our outreaches. We depend completely on the prayers and gifts of friends like you to keep Tony's teaching on this station. So visit TonyEvans.org today and let him know he can count on your help. Again, that's TonyEvans.org. Or you can call us at 1-800-800-3222 and let one of our staff members help you. We all know that actions have consequences. Well, next week, Dr. Evans uses a familiar story to show us why, in the spiritual arena, some of the worst of them can be reversed. Right now, though, he's back with a final comment to wrap up today's lesson.
All through the Bible, you'll see restored people. You'll see Moses being restored, Solomon being restored, Peter being restored, Paul being restored, over and over again, male and female. When they came back to God, God reaches in and lifts them out of the mess and gives them a miracle. But you got to be willing to leave the mess and to focus on the Lord.
The Alternative with Dr. Tony Evans is brought to you by the Urban Alternative and is made possible by the generous contributions of listeners like you.